Damn, I can't see it.
To $3,000.
That we need for them to bring up this issue of court pack.
To low 60s, and then tomorrow, Friday, morning fog, but then staying mostly cloudy for most of the day. So it's not going to be quite as warm as today. That's just a little above average, highs in the low to mid 70s. On Saturday, mostly cloudy, more seasonable temperatures. Highs will only be in the upper 60s to low 70s, and a cold front will move through later in the day with a couple of scattered showers. And then behind that front on Sunday, mostly cloudy, breezy, and much, much cooler. A few stray lingering showers. Highs will only be in the upper 50s to low 60s. And it's 60 right now in Fairfax, 58 in Cedarville, 63 at Washington Reagan National.
Okay, Matt, thank you. We've got 61 outside of our studios, and it's brought to you by New Look Home Design. Right now, save 50% on all roofing materials.
8:22 now. Why did an election judge in Montgomery County mark a mailed-in ballot? A video of the judge doing so has now gone viral, leading to allegations of fraud. But the Board of Elections says the judge was simply filling in previously marked ovals on a ballot in dark pen so it could be read by a scanner. After an investigation, the board's attorney determined the man did nothing wrong. The lawyer said the practice had been in place since at least 2003 and is designed to ensure that as many eligible ballots are counted as possible. But in the future, election judges will only darken ovals while being observed by an election judge of another political party.
Some early voters in Fairfax County have been standing in line for hours before they can cast their ballot. And the county chapter of the NAACP is calling on the electoral board to do better. The chapter says some people have stood in lines for 4 hours or more since early voting began in mid-September, calling that inexcusable. It's demanding an increase in voting hours and the hiring of more election workers. The county admits that it is taking longer to vote, so it's adding more workers and changing the layout of polling places where it can.
The tidal basin is a beautiful, one-of-a-kind place, visited by millions of people from around the world. But it's in pretty bad shape right now. The National Park Service estimates it needs as much as $500 million in repairs and improvements. What would it look like if the agency had the money? WTOP's Michelle Bash reports design teams are sharing their visions.
Imagine a land bridge connecting the Jefferson Memorial and the White House, or a series of floating wetlands in the tidal basin. How about moving the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial to a new spot, or just letting the memorials around the tidal basin gracefully decay and become increasingly flooded over and overgrown with plants? These ideas and more are part of a new online exhibition where you can check out each proposal and submit your comments. Read more at WTOP.com, search tidal basin. Michelle Bash, WTOP News.
Up ahead in Money News, Quibi calls it quits. It's 8:24.
When it comes to checkout, a Wells Fargo checking account and contactless debit card let you get right to it, like this.
Alright, so today the total comes out to $18.
Or like this.
Soda and a bag of gummy worms. Yum. That'll be, oh, hi.
Yeah, you're going to be on Monday. I don't know.
Local polling from Georgia, we had the New York Times poll that had them effectively tied for likely voters, Tom. The polling from Texas, the Quinnipiac poll, was in the last 24 hours. Texas, virtually tied. These are states that haven't been blue since 92 to 76. I mean, you could go back, Tom, a long, long time for the last time that happened. I think it happened in 2016. That's why so many people, Tom, just don't get it.
Yeah, I think that's up there. And the argument, John, is you and I can't do this. We can't do it. So we need Kevin Sorrell. 7. How many? I mean, that just.
Not a pile of pancakes without bacon, I've been told.
Long neck with the chase of death. Trust me, 2 long necks.
I won't talk about the eating habits of compatriots that moved America forever.
Having a full neck for your.
Bloomberg surveillance brought to you by WIC, a forward-thinking advisor. Participate in the End SARS protests. And we now go to Abuja, Nigeria's capital, where Shwari Moile is a Nigerian journalist, human rights activist, founder and publisher of Sahara Reporters. Shwari, it is great to see you. You've been imprisoned by the Nigerian state. Now, once again, you're out on the streets. Talk about who the SARS police are, why you were protesting, and what this continued violence against the people of Nigeria means.
Thank you so much, Amy, and I'm glad to be on your show. SARS is the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. It was formed in 1992, apparently to fight armed robbery. But it was formed after the demise, not the demise, but after a unit of the Nigerian police known as the Kill and Go was kind of arrested because they were committing the same type of atrocities in those days. They were being used by oil companies to suppress villagers and protesters in the Niger Delta region. So SARS is their nephew or cousin or brother, as you can imagine, in the police force, a tactical unit that has been unleashed on young people in particular. And they have the license to do the same thing the Kill and Go do: kill, destroy, decimate, extort, invade. But they started having problems recently where they start to stop young people on the street who have dreadlocks, they have their hairs colored, and they extort them and they arrest people with phones and ask them to unlock their phones. They take them to ATMs to collect bribes and extortion fees. It was crazy, and this has been going on, and they've been killing people, young people, without warrants, without any reason, and it got to a head. Well, let me be very clear. SARS is just the alias name for the pent-up anger within the Nigerian society, where young people are fighting over unemployment, over lack of justice, lack of access to the national wealth in terms of oil resources and other resources. And the fact that the democratic system in Nigeria has started to break down and yield no dividend for the people of Nigeria. So all these young people you see on the street, yes, they're fighting against police brutality, but they're also fighting against army brutality. They are fighting against unemployment. They are fighting against the incompetence and indifference of the regime that's been in power. Who, by the way, sent me to prison last year for 5 months simply because I organized a protest that was supposed to take place August 5, 2019 in Lagos. And he flew me to Abuja, detained me without trial for a long time. A lot of young people are going through the same thing. You know, people are getting detained, jailed for making social media posts on Facebook, on Twitter. It's unbelievable. Nigeria has become a police state practically, and what you're seeing is a response to all of these abuses that have been taking place. And of course, on top of that is corruption. You know, when Nigeria was under lockdown from COVID-19 between February and now, officials were making away with billions of local currency, naira, which is millions in dollars, from things as stupid as saying that they're feeding school children who are not going to school. So people are hearing all of this, and social media is helping to amplify all of these abuses. Images are coming out, live, instantaneously, and this makes people to rise up at once. And I tell you, I was happy to be back on the street fighting on the side of all these young people for the revolution. And this is what I've always asked for, that Nigerians need to rise up against oppression and fight for their rights and have a revolution that will give them a new order and a new direction that can restore faith once again in what they call democracy here, which is just completely being managed by morons. So this is where we are, Amy, and in Abuja, where I participated, the dimension was different. They introduced what I call informal repression. In their own case in Abuja, they are not sending soldiers to kill protesters directly, but they move in Oshins, and hoodlums in government vehicles to attack protesters, and they've injured, killed one protester in Abuja that we know of, and they've injured a lot of people. As of last night, these Oshins being directed by the police and the secret service, the secret police in Nigeria, known as the DSS, are going from, they are doing house-to-house searches for people they said are leaders of this uprising that's happening in Nigeria. In my own case, yesterday, they went to court to try and revoke my bail so that I could get rearrested. But luckily for me, lawyers did a fantastic job to ward that off. So they are at war against the youth. They are at war against human rights. They are at war against the people of Nigeria.